This is a picture of my classroom. I think it really summarizes my philosophy on technology and what I think technology can do to the classroom. So as you can see, I'm actually in this picture in the top right corner, and what technology has enabled me to do is humanize the classroom. It gets me sitting next to my students rather than standing in the front lecturing to them. It engages them. The technology gets out of the way, and we're immediately able to get at some of those higher level thinking tasks that usually as teachers we really want to do in some of those creative projects, but they take so much time and they take so much effort. So I view technology as a tool to kind of make that happen, but when it's so cumbersome, it becomes a waste of my time. So with the Chromebooks, and I won't give you too much of a Chromebook pitch, but I'd be glad to talk to you about them later. It really helped that happen because they're so fast. I was able to get to my seat, the students log in, and within 60 seconds, we're able to go in and immediately start the creation process and get at some of the tasks, and that's why I think they're fantastic. So as Will said, I took my class and put it entirely on the cloud. This is my website, and so the first thing that my students do is they go to the website, and it's just a basic Google site, 3-column template, and I created little pictures in Photoshop that represent buttons, and it really made the students excited about the different learning, so they can go check their grades, they can get help with history, which are a bunch of screencasts that I've uploaded going through the different units, help with computers, you know, how to make a bookmark, how to resize images. And then you can see I have my history on YouTube channel that we'll get to a little bit later. So the first thing they do on a regular day is click today's history lesson, and it takes them to my class blog. And every day I have a new blog post, and I give them 5 different tasks. And I try to keep it consistent. Every day there's 5 tasks. The first task is submitting your homework, and then they go in and there's some type of quick question, maybe usually through Google Moderator or Collaborate. And then we go into some of the projects later in the day and some of the videos or whatever activities that we're going to do. So the agenda for this presentation is I want to go over the goals or aims for this presentation, talk about privacy, because I think when YouTube comes up with your discussions with other teachers, privacy is going to be a key question that they may have. The types of videos that can be used in the classroom and the ways that relates to different learners, why I think teachers should use YouTube in the classroom, and then go into some case studies or examples, going from the beginning entry level, like where Ramsey's talking about having a video playing at the beginning of class, into some of the more interactive ways that you can use video. So we got 3 goals. When you leave here, I want you to be able to go in the classroom or your classroom or with people that are doing tech administration, helping the teachers go into their classrooms and harness the full power of video. You know, really take YouTube from a place that you go search and find a video and use it in your class to a full integration. The second one is I want you guys to leave equipped to be able to lead a professional development on YouTube and why you should use it in the classroom. So you're going to see this presentation go from the basics of privacy that I'm sure all of us are familiar with, all the way into the basic uses of YouTube in the classroom, showing a video at the beginning, all the way up into some of the more advanced. And I did that on purpose because I want you guys to be able to steal this presentation, customize it for yourself or whoever you want to do, and stand in front of the teachers at your school and give the same thing. So you can explain to them how to use YouTube in the classroom. And the third is take some of these knowledge or examples that you've seen and use them in Jim's and Ramsey's session to build some videos to be able to get the ball rolling on setting up your own channel. So let's start with the simple privacy. The nice thing about YouTube is it gives you the full spectrum of privacy. So even the most hermitized teacher, you know, who really wants to just, that's really not a word, but keep everything to themselves, they can turn YouTube into a web locker where they can just keep all of their videos. So anytime they're logged into a computer, they can open up their account and play their videos and embed it on their website. And if they're logged in, it'll play. But if somebody else goes to it, nobody else can see it. So this is for the teacher who's maybe not comfortable sharing video or really doesn't want anybody to see it outside of the classroom. This isn't me, so I can't really think about how I would use that. Maybe if I'm doing some type of, you know, playing around with different settings, I don't want to waste somebody's time and have them watch the video. The second one I use fairly often, and it's just because I don't want to waste people's time who go browsing for videos and steer them down the wrong path, but it's the only people with the link or the unlisted version. So this is discoverable if somebody goes to my page. So if a student has my channel saved, they can see the video, or I can embed a list or whatever, but it's not something public. So if I have a presentation on medieval Japan and you search for medieval Japan, even if my tags are all set up and my title's the way it is, you won't find it on YouTube. So this is maybe the example where you'd see like 100 views or something. So it's just my students, you saw it on my webpage, or it's in some type of playlist I've created, but nobody else can see it. And the third example is just open to the public. And this is where I want to get video on YouTube too, is everybody just sharing. Like even if you don't think it's, you know, the Nova special on pollution in the oceans, like I want to put it up there and give people options. Because the beauty of YouTube is being able to see so much content and you making that decision as the viewer. So I want to talk to you. I want to get some engagement and get some of your guys' feedback, because you guys are the experts, and presenting to you is definitely an honor. Like EduTecher is the thing I use in my class all the time, and steer teachers to right away, and had no idea that that was you. So I want you guys to go to this link and start a discussion that we can circle back to later on what you think makes an effective video. So this is Google Moderator, and I was assured that it's going to stay around even though labs might be going away, and I love it. I use it in my classroom on almost a daily basis, and it just facilitates discussion. If anybody's used it before, you definitely know, like it's amazing. So if you've never used it before, you definitely have to first submit your name and then maybe the city that you're from. Then you can go in and submit your idea on what you think your video is and what makes an effective video. And then you're going to be able to thumbs up or thumbs down everybody else's opinions on what makes an effective video. So I had to train my students not to get their feelings hurt if somebody gives them a thumbs down or like a downvote on their idea. It doesn't mean people don't like you. They're saying they may not agree with your opinion there. So far, Adam, you have the most popular idea with your short and engaging. 8 people liked it. I wish we had some type of prize for the best response. So as you guys are continuing to finish those up and vote on each other's ideas, I'm going to move on so we can try to get to the discussion piece at the end. So let's think about how we learn. Everybody at some point in their math career has probably learned about number patterns. And I'm guessing that we all learned we all were taught it first in a similar way, where the teacher stands at the front of the room, explains what number patterns are, goes into an example or two, and then gives you some type of independent practice and some type of worksheet where you're working with number patterns. That may not be the way you actually learned it, though. So I pulled out 4 different examples of videos that are teaching number patterns, but appealing to a different learning style in each video. So as we go through these 4 videos, what I want you to do is think about you in terms of a learner and which way would be the most effective for you if you were learning about number patterns for the very first time. So let's take a look at some of these.
Even number is a whole number that can be divided by 2, and it has a factor of 2. And therefore, any even number can be obtained by taking a whole number, odd or even, and multiplying it by 2. 2 times 1 is even, 2 times 2, 2 times 17, 2 times 1,000, 2 times 4,746,001.
Okay, for the Year 9 number patterns micro test, you've got to be able to find the formula and the sort of 20th term of a number pattern. So if you look at the number pattern we've got now, it's clear that between each number they're going up in 4s. Because they're going up in 4s, you're going to write down the 4 times table. Make sure you line it up with the numbers you've got. Because it's a 4 times table, we'll label that row 4n.
Okay. Don't kill me on the embed codes while I know
seating arrangements.
Yeah, but it's proving to be a bit difficult. You see, the only problem is that all the tables are trapezium-shaped.
What makes things worse is that we only have 4 tables. The caretaker said could get us more, but we need to work out how many more tables we need.
Maybe I can help. Why don't you show me what you have worked on so far?
Well, we've realized that 1 table can seat 5 people.
So this video is 13 minutes long, and because you're having a tough time hearing it, they have these odd-shaped tables, and they have a seating arrangement around them. And when you put the tables together, you're obviously decreasing the amount of people that can sit at 1 table, but increasing the overall amount of place settings. And let's look at the 4th video. So if you as a learner, and I know these are number patterns at different levels, so we can try to pretend that they're at the same level, and you were learning about number patterns for the very first time, which video would you watch on YouTube to learn about number patterns? So how many people would go with number 1? Which is how teachers are probably introducing number patterns for the first time. How many would go with number 2? Okay, top right corner. All right, how many would go with number 3? Okay, and anybody the 4th type of learner? And that's the power of video, because if I'm teaching it, I will probably, and I'm not a math teacher, but I'd probably start out with some type of explanation, and then I maybe might work out a problem like in video 2. And then if I'm, really hitting my peak as a teacher, I might bring in video number 3 and kind of show them or do some type of real-world application, but we've still left out a learner. And so yes, I've taught most of my kids, but there's no child that should be left behind, right? And so with the power of video, you can meet all of those different types of learners. And so if I was a teacher teaching number patterns, I would probably continue to do my examples and teach it that way, but I'd also create a playlist of 5 videos that students would be able to go to if I'm not meeting their educational needs or their learning needs. So when you go to YouTube and you look for videos, there's 3 major categories of videos that you'll find. The first is a screencast, and that can be broken up into 2 subcategories. One is the tabcast that you can be doing with Ramsey later, where you're actually creating a document through a tablet. The other video would be just capturing your screen, going through a presentation. The second video would be kind of the live example. There's 2 main ways of doing that. One, a teacher standing at the front of the room explaining something. The other showing some type of example. So here, looking at exothermic reactions, adding 2 chemicals together, and getting a chance to see it. And the third would be the animation type videos. So you have the higher end. Harvard does these great videos where you can go in as if you're somebody or entering a human cell or an animal cell and go visit the Golgi apparatus for the very first time and floating around the different cells. That's kind of the high-end animation. And then there's the lower-end animation where Go Animate or Extranormal, where we can actually create the videos, or students can even create the videos. So that's the range of videos that I found on YouTube doing my searches. So there's 3 major reasons why I think teachers should use YouTube, and it's definitely not a waste of time. The first is to lengthen instructional time. The second is to increase student engagement. And the third is to meet each individual student's needs. So as we go through these case studies and we get to have our discussion, you're going to see those same 3 themes coming back through every different case study. A teacher is either trying to increase their instructional time, increase engagement, or try to meet every student's needs. And there's a 4th impact, or a 4th reason why teachers could use YouTube, but I think they're afraid of this, and that is expanding their impact. Sal Khan started out as trying to meet the needs of his niece and nephew. So he created videos, put them online, and they were able to learn the different math concepts that they were struggling with. He became their tutor. Obviously, an unintended consequence was we've seen that a lot of people were watching his videos, the birth of the Khan Academy. But you can't go back to your teachers at your schools and say, hey, you should use YouTube because you can be the next Sal Khan. You can be the next teacher star. Because as teachers, most of us aren't that way. We're more, I don't know why, but we just are more like, I want to meet the needs of my students, and I want to do the best that's for them. I'm not interested in becoming a celebrity. But I think that is one of the 4th reason that teachers might want to use YouTube. So let's get into the case studies, and I'm excited because we're ahead of schedule, and we can have a good discussion because you guys have seen different ways of using YouTube. So we had some debate on whether or not this first video should be used. And this is kind of the low-level example or the intro example. How most of your teachers probably use YouTube already is just hooking your students from the start. Because we're just now learning what TV is known for a long time. We need to be engaged, and our attention span only lasts for about 8 to 10 minutes, and we need some type of break and a type of new hook. So if I'm teaching physics, for example, I'm going to hook my students with a video like this, and I can't promise, but I think that the girl in this video is okay. So if I'm giving it, I need some feedback on whether or not I should use this video again. Has anybody seen this? All right, so if I'm a chemist or a physics teacher, these two people are going to run at each other, holding these big inflatable balls. What do you guys think is going to happen? I shouldn't have told you the girl's going to be okay. So So if you're going to use a video like that, you definitely want to build in reaction time for the students, but they're automatically hooked. You know, even seeing this for the 10th time, like, you know, my endorphins get going a little bit, and I'm still worried about this girl. I'm going to go through the comments later and see if there's some type of feedback. So that's the first one. The second one I think is more of a utility, and that is capturing your direct instruction. There's a lot of value in just simply turning on some type of recording device or making a separate little video. It may seem like a waste of time, but you're going to end up saving yourself a lot of time in the end. So there's this video where this teacher, and how many of you have used interactive notebooks in your classes back when we used paper a lot? Interactive notebooks are awesome. I did them with history, but they're really cumbersome. You know, it takes a lot of explanation to set up, and managing these notebooks is a lot of work. So what this teacher did, I think it's Miss Ball is her name. And if I use any of your videos, that'd be kind of cool, but I don't know, because I use a whole bunch of different ones. So we'll take a look at what she did.
Hi guys, this is Miss Ball. I'm creating this video cast to teach you how to set up your interactive science notebook for advanced science class this year. I'm going to go through all of the things that I will be checking in this first notebook check. We've been working on the notebook since last Friday, August 28th, and they are due for a art grade this Friday, September 4th. This is also going to be helpful for those students who either moved to Pullman or changed classes during the year into my science class.
So now she's created a resource that she can send out to her students or embed on her website. And think about the time that she has saved versus if some student came to her and says, Miss Ball, I don't know how to set up my interactive notebook. I wasn't here. I didn't get it the first time you explained it. Can you walk me through it? And do it. And through video now, you'll be able to, or the student will be able to go through different steps. I don't know why the sound isn't working. And pause it along the way. I can stop and give you an example of a student in my class. We have about 30% of the students at my school have IEPs. And a couple of the students in my class are on the autism spectrum. And I am really fast-paced, and I try to meet the needs of as many students as possible, but I realize I'm doing a disservice to my students that need things broken up into individual chunks. So I create videos that are really easy for them to pause after each direction, complete that direction, hit play when they're ready for the next step. And that's huge for them. They now are able to complete the task that some of the students where I can give 5 directions at a time and say go can do, and they don't feel like they're lost and need to ask a teammate for help. They're empowered to learn it from me just like their teammates did. And I think that's really, really huge. The other thing we do is we take this time to create these elaborate whiteboard diagrams, and we go around and we explain the elements of the plot, or in this case, this teacher, it looks like he probably spent an hour diagramming the scientific methods and the different processes around it. I would recommend he do it on a slide, but he did it on his whiteboard. But he was also smart about it at the end. He pulled out looked like his telephone camera and just quickly captured the video and then zooming in and explaining the different parts. So now he's created a resource where if you do something on a whiteboard and a student is absent, they're not going to be able to see all that and hear your thought process behind creating that. So he instantly has created a record. And that brings me to the next use case, which is archiving your work.